Welcome to Tailgate Update number 47. And we're going to be focusing on the NFL today, just like the whole world is focusing on the NFL this week.
Well, probably the American world or North American, but sure.
The North American world, yes. And we're going to start off, though, by talking about this weekend in UFC and mixed martial arts.
I sure will. Conor McGregor, he plans on being running in a race in Ireland. Looking forward to seeing how that goes. He upset some people because he, took some time off, and they're like, you can't just come back and... Anyway, so Bilal Muhammad kind of went off on him a little bit, saying he don't look good. He doesn't look like he's doing good in his life. Like, thinks he probably should maybe take a longer break, or and then also Jake Paul says that the UFC is freezing McGregor out. Who knows? So yeah, but he's got bigger and better things than wrestling if he's gonna be the... Dana White revealed his Mount Rushmore for the top 4 UFC fighters of all time, which has been quite the topic, so let us know if you agree. And y'all can chip in on this one. He thinks the top 4 are John Jones, Ronda Rousey, Georges St. Pierre, and Conor McGregor. So we should make our own Mount Rushmore for random sports.
He left Chuck Liddell out.
That's what I was thinking about, was Liddell.
He left Iceman Chuck Liddell out. The man who helped Dana build the UFC.
Look, I don't like none of that anyway, because they'll be like, oh, he's the best, whatever. Okay, like, what about people before you were even alive?
I'm amazed he didn't. I'm amazed he didn't have Tito Ortiz on there. Like, Tito and Chuck helped create the foundation for this freaking company.
I could be wrong, yeah, I could be wrong, but it seems that he is very much focused on what's happening right now and not anything past.
Yeah, I mean, McGregor? No. McGregor over Liddell is a big snub by Dana.
Well, I'm glad we could have this talk, and now we can get into the NFL.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so the first week of football is almost done. We're filming this on Monday night before kickoff, so just as a frame of reference to our fans. But we are going to cover the games of last week because God knows we can't live without sharing that. Ravens and Chiefs, Thursday night football. What were we thinking? Sometimes I swear I see a different football game than everybody else when we're talking, because people go ham on people, and I'm like, I didn't even notice. But so I'm sure there'll be a lot of that.
I don't know. I think their officials were doubling as dry cleaners that night because there's a lot of laundry on the field.
Oh my God.
The new ruling for this illegal formation is ridiculous. It's nitpicking.
Yeah, and it wasn't just them that was struggling. It was every team this entire week was like just more laundry than a laundromat. Yep.
It just doesn't make sense. We do this whole illegal formation thing, but we don't cut down on the jump start that left tackles and right tackles do, like Lane Johnson for Philly. He jumps to Wyoming before the ball's even snapped. Why are we calling
Ryan priorities?
I don't understand. We call this illegal formation for a dude being a centimeter off of the center's belt line.
Literally.
But Lane Johnson and the left tackle for Kansas City jumps into outer space, and it's all good.
Well, we know the rules don't apply to them, just to be clear. Because the majority of the laundry on the field was not for them.
Yeah,
ever.
Talking about the football part, I just thought Kansas City looked efficient, but like ordinary.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel like that they really pulled too many new things out. I thought that the rules are what they are, but it was still 5-0, I believe, on that particular penalty with Kansas City to Baltimore. So it really stood out the first game of the first year to be calling a penalty that most people hadn't seen called all last year. Um, that's a bad way to introduce the season, I thought.
Mm.
But otherwise, it was a good game that became a great game because of the ending.
And Xavier Worthy was very exciting. Like I will say,
Mhm.
as his first game in the NFL, like wow. So that was
Yes.
awesome.
I saw the thing on Stats Muse that said the last person to get two touchdowns from wide receiver in their first game, rookie year, was 1933.
Oh,
And I
And what
still
was the
haven't
name?
seen anything to dispute that.
What was the name?
Stat Muse,
No, what was the name of the player?
Xavier Worthy.
No, the guy
the
from
one from the
1933.
30s.
Oh, 33. I do not know.
I probably
I'm
really
Okay.
would
sure he
know
was
if you
working
mentioned
at the
them.
cannery at night. It's 1933.
Look, I know some of our biggest athletes from the 30s. I did quite a bit of research on it, so
I'm sure you did, Julie.
yes. So I would have
Well done.
known, but thank you for your
Okay.
research, Jay.
Well, it's something. I mean, because I was just going to look up and see a guy that caught a pass for a touchdown and ran one in for a touchdown. As a rookie, that's got to be pretty, you
Mm-hmm.
know, unusual just by itself, much less your very first game.
Uh, I'm not sure how he dropped so far in the draft, to be honest.
I mean, it's not like the draft is always a good estimation of talent anyway. And I think that this is just another example that because I know people said he was going to do well, but how often do they predict that people will do well and they don't? So like I did
Oh, yeah, yeah, I get you. Kind of like Kadarius Toney.
oh
Yeah.
okay.
What
Well, let's
was
move on to Brazil, okay? Okay, I
Oh,
got to tell you a random fun fact for this one because it made me die. So the Eagles couldn't wear green. And yeah, they had to do the completely different uniforms because the soccer team in Sao Paulo is the Corinthians, and they have this anti-green thing. I mean, it's so dramatic their hatred for the color green that you'll get fined if you wear it and you're the home team. And they tried to paint the field black because they didn't want the green grass. So like the hatred runs deep. So Packers could wear their uniforms because they were an away team, but since the Eagles were technically like a home team, they had to wear all black, which I thought was just really strange. And I'm like, well, you could have saved a lot of time and money probably if you had just put the Chiefs and the Ravens there. But what do I know? Why not just put the teams with all the green in Brazil?
that is crazy. I mean, it's lucky that the opponents didn't wear blue because then they would have had to play in a dome.
Yes. Okay, like it was I'd never heard anything like this. So it was like and people thought it was because of gangs. No, but the Corinthians are probably as scary as one, so it was wise too, because I hear that they really don't like the color green. So
yeah, ridiculous.
yep, so that's my fun fact for Sao Paulo is that no green. So they should probably find a different home team.
Or don't play there, I guess.
Oh my gosh.
He's
Very
kind of
funny.
ridiculous.
Yeah, so anyway, the game itself, really interesting, very close at the end, and I will say, it was kind of upsetting. I'm the furthest thing from a Packers fan, but seeing Jordan Love getting his knee popped like that was kind of rough, especially since he was trying to do a Hail Mary to like save the team in like the last 5 seconds of the game, which is like the most frustrating time I think. I mean, not the most, but it certainly isn't like the time that you would think that would be the riskiest. And now he's going to be out for, I've heard an estimation of like 3 to 6 weeks. It's just his MCL, and it depends on the extent of the strain on it. We're not sure, so it could be depends on like how bad it is, depending on how many weeks. But 6 weeks is definitely like the tail end of it, and he is quite young, so there's a chance there that he'll be able to bounce back pretty quickly. But I know that was kind of hard for me to watch And then watching his backup, who was that? Brissett? Was it Jacoby? Brissett?
No, it was
Willis.
yeah, Malik Willis.
Yeah, yeah.
Malik Willis,
Watching
yeah.
watching him just completely like bomb. Like everything he did was like. I mean, I know there was only 5 seconds, but it was just like a really painful end to the game and not a good start to his season. So that was great. And so, although I don't like the Packers, it was still like, this is. But shout out to the Eagles.
I was a little disappointed. Not with the quality of the game, the quality of the field.
Oh yeah.
I don't understand why the
It's
NFL
a
continues.
mixture of grass and turf, which I thought was a really confusing blend. But apparently, the what's their names? The Packers said it wasn't that different from Lambeau Field, so they were struggling a lot less than the Eagles. And I'm like, well, why didn't you make them the home team if they're already used to it then? But what do I know?
Either way, Philly's gonna have to play there.
I know, but like I don't know. It just was like, okay, so now you're gonna put them on the turf where they can't even play and it's their home game. Like that feels kind of mean to me. But anyway, like I do know that they were struggling more than the Packers and like had a lot of like what do they call it? Where they were like, let me test my cleats and fall all over the place, saying which ones work the best. And
yeah,
so I
it
think
don't make sense.
it detracted from the game a bit because like we would
Right.
prefer that everybody was able to evenly play, but I still don't think that's the worst turf that we have in the league.
Well, it just kind of takes away from the
Why
aura
we're
of
all
the game.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, because it reminds me of the Super Bowl a couple years ago between Philly and Kansas City when we had that turf debate where it was just coming up in clumps and guys were
Right.
slipping all over the place. You can't have that. A big game like that, you can't have that type of production on the field, product coming out of the game, and it's just ridiculous that we had our players,
Yeah.
going
And
and
it's
playing in such
dangerous.
conditions. Yes.
And especially the Super Bowl is one thing. I mean, you certainly don't want to get injured, but it is the end of your season. But if you get beat up in the first week, that could have entire season, impacting situations. But let's keep it chugging here.
Chugging,
The Panthers. No, that's okay. The Panthers and the Saints.
Not much to say.
Yeah, that was.
That was a blowout from day one.
I kind of because I'm a Saints fan by proxy because of my significant other, and I was like, are they decent or are the Panthers just the very worst thing to walk on the field? I feel like it's probably a mixture.
That's why I said yes.
Yeah, I don't think right. I don't think that we know yet, but it was a good confidence boost for the Saints, so I think that could be really helpful. I don't know why they still have Dennis Allen because he proved that he's can't run a locker room last year, so not sure why they're giving him another shot this year. But it was a massacre, and we all felt bad for Bryce Young, I think, even if we weren't fans of the team.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
it was
because
just a bad performance.
he
all the way
just
around.
like couldn't, no matter what he did. Well, first off, he didn't have enough time to consider anything because he was always running. So like
Right.
I think there's a problem when we assume that a quarterback is going to come through and just like save the day. And I know that it happens every once in a while, but it's not a fair assumption. And I think it's unfortunate. And I don't even think we know him as a player because all we do is see him run for his life.
Yeah, but this is the second year they've had time to fix it, and they
Yeah,
haven't.
but we know how they are, and so he's like a casualty of the draft system of getting sent to the worst team, and he didn't want to do a John Elway, which is perfectly reasonable, and so he's a casualty to the system, and so I feel really bad, like a lot of America.
Well, T. Lawrence, man, he made lemonade out of lemons, and we sent to Jacksonville, and they were pretty bad.
That's what I'm saying, though. You can't assume that like one person is going to be able to do it, and also people are very critical of his performances most of the time, anyway.
And the difference between Carolina and Jacksonville is Jacksonville actually tried to build around Lawrence, and Bryce Young's yet to have a supporting cast.
Yeah. So I just feel like there's I mean, obviously you can only get so much from week one, but like
Yeah,
I I definitely felt like oh like I just felt really bad. Like I wanted to give him a hug. I felt like it was watching my nephew getting beat at basketball. Like it was like I'm sorry.
yeah. I said last week that I don't really hold any stock in what happens in week one, so we'll see what
Um
happens.
yeah, it's a preview, I would say. It's an idea of what could be.
The trailer.
Yeah, let's see. The Vikings and the Giants, our good friend Jordan said it was so bad that people were like following Danny Dimes to his car. So that's how we can lead into that conversation.
They were burning his jersey outside the stadium yesterday.
Yeah, that feels appropriate. I'm not even sure why he's back.
As if he's the reason why they are losing.
I would rather have Tommy Cutlets back up there. Okay, because he's in his mom's basement right now, and he could be out there playing. But
Yeah,
shit, I wouldn't leave if I got those. If I got those either, okay. Like, look,
yeah,
I'll stick around for the cutlets, but I'm just
yeah,
saying, like, I think he would probably be better than what they got rolling now. Like, he just irks
yeah,
me. Danny
Once
Dimes
yeah.
again,
irks
zero
me.
supporting cast.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That I think the Giants fans are more angry at them just because they let Saquon walk, and he still looks so good for
Oh
Philadelphia.
my god, he really showed what was up with that. Okay, because I know that some people are kind of giving him a little guff, right, for demanding the trade, whatever, how he
Can't
handled
blame
that
him.
situation. But holy shit, did he prove himself in 1 week?
On bad field conditions, yeah.
Yeah, he's amazing, and it's good to see him in a team that can actually utilize his talent and not just like yeah. But yeah, like Danny Dimes was a dumpster fire. Don't know why they thought he would stop being one. So I'm just like, whatever.
Well, they thought maybe if they threw a $44.5 million hose at him, he'd be okay.
Yeah,
But
that's how
he
that
continued
works.
to burn.
Yes, because he's just bad at what he does. Like it's
He's not terrible. He's just not a starter in the NFL.
no.
And of course, he's never actually had a supporting cast in New York other than 1 year. They went to the playoffs and they were a surprise team. They went up to Minnesota and took out a team that was
Yeah, maybe
pretty
if they
much a
didn't have to
fake.
pay him so much, they could afford a supporting cast.
They could have afforded to save Saquon, but again, Saquon, he deserved
Saquon
better.
jumped ship, and it made a lot of sense, and I'm glad he did. And we all got to see how that worked out very well for him. So,
Yep. Yep.
but yeah. So Giants fans are disappointed as always. Patriots Bengals. I know this one was got a lot of people feeling some type of way.
I don't know if I want to call it a boring game, but it was not Joe Burrow-esque at all. I mean, putting up 10 points against New England, who's predicted to be last place in the East, fighting for a top 10 draft pick, and you muster up 10 points with Jamar Chase back in the lineup and T. Higgins was there.
Yep.
Not a good look. That offensive line, they keep saying they improved the offensive line, and they continue to let Joe Burrow get beat up badly. I mean, it was, I think it was midway through the second quarter, and they said that the Bengals had yet to have a first down.
Yeah.
Is there something up with his wrist? Something up with Burrow's wrist?
He says everything's good. I mean, he should be good. He's been out for close to a year, rehabbing and everything. I just week one jitters. I think first came back. He let off. Didn't play in the preseason, so.
And the hair. The hair is
and what is he? Is he auditioning for the NSYNC tour or what?
I was.
Like,
oh
what
my
is
God,
going on with that blonde hair?
Comment when I wrote an article about his Eminem moment, as I'm calling it. I definitely mentioned that he looks like he got thrown up out of a boy band.
Yeah, he's no longer Joey Burr. He's Slim JoJo.
Man, I hate to bring up hair, but did anybody see Bradshaw on the NFL Fox show?
Oh, he's letting that horseshoe grow out a little bit, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. I heard he referred to as a skullet, which I thought was
The
brilliant.
skullet. Okay.
I
Yeah,
love that.
because it's mainly balding back there. I mean, I hope I have that much hair when I'm like 83, but I mean, it's like
Ugh.
he just
What
let
is
it
he?
grow all the way
83?
back.
He's 83, I think. Yeah,
Isn't he? He's like 80,
I think
83.
so. So, like, what does he say when he goes to the barber? Like, take a little off sides or what?
He don't go to the barber. It just don't grow in where it's not at. Um. Oh, and while we're talking about random things, the musical. Have you seen it? The Manning Cast musical.
No,
Oh, okay. The Manning Cast
no.
musical.
Yeah, I'm just gonna encourage you to take in that 10 minutes of gloriousness. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, it had me. It had me dying laughing, including the outtakes. I mean, when I watched Snoop Dogg do the Crip Walk slow motion, that took me all the way out. Okay, like did the slowest Crip Walk with the abs.
Goodness gracious.
Okay, yeah, definitely watch it.
Okay.
Steelers Falcons. They won.
Pretty much what we expected.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they
kind of
managed to
thought
hold on.
I thought Atlanta
Steelers
would.
did.
I thought Atlanta would come out on top on that one, and even if it was low scoring, I thought Justin Fields was not going to be able to move the ball because he's Justin Fields. But Kirk Cousins looks like he's not going to be good this year,
Yeah,
and he says it's not due to injury. It's not due to a fear of his Achilles or anything. He just said he was just bad. Maybe it's just Atlanta.
it's hard, and it's hard to switch to a new team when you're a well-seasoned quarterback. Not that I know anything about that, being a diehard Russell Wilson fan until the moment that I die, or he does, or both, or whatever. But it's hard to switch to a new team when you're in your 30s, and you were at an old team for a long time. So like, give him a second.
Well, I'm giving him a second. It was just he looked
Let
really
him
bad.
iron his Kmart shirts and try again next week.
Well, he's gonna have to try again next week because they play again. So
Yep. Texans Colts.
great game. Stroud was pretty good.
Crowding.
230 some yards, 2 tutties. Stephon Diggs looked pretty happy for the time being. 2 tutties for him. Let's see what happens in week 5 when he doesn't get a pass thrown his way.
Okay. He'll DK Metcalf it. I was like, Gino, don't ignore him this long. He gets like really dramatic and he gets the poop card out when this kind of stuff happens. Anyway,
yeah,
managing the expectations of all those egos is like half the quarterback. Okay, Cardinals Bills. I know y'all were talking about that a little bit when I jumped in.
Man, I don't know how to describe this one. Buffalo's defense is like Swiss cheese this year. Missing Milano for a second straight year is really killing them. It's pretty clear they need defensive backs badly. Their pass rush is non-existent, and their offensive line needs some work too. But
so
overall,
basically everything.
I wouldn't say everything. Just some certain aspects of the talent needs to be done better.
Was Allen hurt at the end? Did he get injured or just banged up?
Banged up. He scored a touchdown Superman style and landed right on his hand. Like his elbow landed right on his palm.
Yeah.
He had it taped up towards the end of the game. But he scored 4 tutties yesterday, 2 on the ground, 2 through the air. 230 some yards, I think. 18 to 23, I think he was. So, and James Cook ran for, I think, 80 some yards on 19 carries. It is clear, though, that they need a deep threat. Curtis Samuel needs some more time to acclimate to the offense, I think. Shakir's, he's going to be a great slot receiver for him, though. He's got some great hands, great moves. But overall, that defense really irritated me yesterday. Holy crap, did they irritate me. So soft. No grit to them. They just let Kyler Murray walk right through them. James Cook Connor. I think his name's James Conner, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he was just busting through him like butter. Marvin Harrison Jr. was quiet for his debut, though. That was a little disappointing.
You were hoping for a little more.
Yeah, it was disappointing.
Yeah.
I think he had 2 targets and 1 catch, I think.
Well, that was a good breakdown of that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Where are we at? Oh, Titans Bears. That one was kind of shocking because I was only watching the scores in the little corner at the bottom, and we're like, what? Because for
You're
the majority
exactly
of
right.
it, yes.
I mean, Caleb Williams, first #1 draft pick to start on day one as a quarterback to win his opening day game since 2002. No offensive touchdowns. 0.
Wait, so you're saying like he's the first quarterback since 2002 to win his debut without scoring a touchdown?
No.
He's the first. He's the first.
Yeah, because
#1 pick.
Obviously, you go to the worst team in the league to win the debut.
Yeah.
Who was the last one? Did you look into that or
I
no?
did not look at the last one.
David Carr.
I'm gonna have to fire our.
You think that's right, David Carr? It could be
2002. He's #1 pick for Houston, I think.
Okay, that sounds correct.
Yep. That was also the same year he set the record for most sacks in the season.
He probably played the Tennessee Oilers that year.
I'm actually look that up.
But anyway, it was an amazing game, 17-3.
Yes.
Coming back, the first score for Chicago in Soldier Field this year was a block punt run back by Simone Biles' boyfriend. Her
husband.
Yeah, her husband.
Nice, because he didn't really have much of a presence on the Packers, so I'm glad they're actually using him here.
Yeah, I mean, he was on special teams, but I mean, like I said, you went 24-17, no offensive touchdowns.
Yeah.
There was a pick 6 in there, which you literally should look up, that particular play, because he's going down and he literally underhands it towards his receiver.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That was so bad.
It was blanketed. It was.
What was he doing?
Amazingly bad.
Okay, here's the research for David Carr. He was the first overall pick to Houston in 2002.
Okay.
His first game took place on September the 8th, 2002, at home versus Dallas.
Okay.
They won 19-10.
Yes.
He completed 10 of 22 for 145, 2 tutties, and a pick. And he was sacked 6 times.
Wow.
Maybe Dallas was in the
Quincy Carter era or something.
Huh?
Maybe Dallas was in the Quincy Carter era.
They were.
Something.
Yep.
Okay.
I remember that. I used to play with Dallas in NFL 2K2, and Quincy Carter was so bad in that game.
Yeah, they were so bad. But anyway, yeah, that was the whole game. They had 17-3 at half. Didn't score even the field goal second half. And neither did Chicago on the offense, but a pick 6, run back, and then a special teams touchdown.
Way to let everybody else carry you.
Insane.
Caleb, I was watching SportsCenter this morning, and they were breaking him down, and it seemed as though he was taken by surprise with how fast the game was compared to preseason.
I did hear that because apparently it's it's quite different. Chris Collinsworth and the other guy, I forget his name, they were mentioning that the speed of the game is always hard for every rookie.
Yeah, it's going to be much different from preseason because you're not playing practice squad guys and guys who are bagging groceries at Costco in 3 weeks. When you're playing top level,
even have bags at Costco, but okay.
When you're playing top level defenders, it's gonna be it was gonna be a little bit faster. And Caleb, I think he realized that, and he's gonna adjust. He's got he's gonna adjust. He's got a really good arm talent. It's just got a lot to learn. I was
going to say, Julie, you just created a new genre of Costco truther.
Costco doesn't even have bags.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I don't have a Costco. Leave me alone.
Yeah. They haven't had back since I was like 10. Like,
What did I just say? I don't have a Costco.
oh my
But
gosh.
anyway,
I have a Sam's
Caleb
Club.
had no turnovers, and the mailman had two. So he fumbled and he threw a horrendous interception. So
Mm,
two interceptions overall.
The
So
the mailman.
mayo
the
man.
mailman, the mayo man,
Mayonnaise.
mayonnaise man.
Yeah. God, do we have to
You
explain
need to
everything
look
to
up
you?
mayonnaise man Will Levis on the internet.
Oh my
His own,
God.
he has his own scent.
A scent
Stop
of
it.
mayonnaise.
I'm sorry, but she
What the hell's wrong
And
with
he
you?
probably
No wonder you threw
shares
two
it-
picks yesterday.
Remember
And the
who's
fumble.
Big Ed from 90 Day Fiance? They probably share that brand because he's also has a thing about
So-
putting mayonnaise in his hair.
Levis had three turnovers yesterday.
Yes, two interceptions and a fumble.
He looked
was
so
sacked
good.
and he fumbled.
He looked so good up until the second interception. And when I was looking at the highlights, he looked pretty decent.
He did, but the fumble was inexcusable. I mean, it was one of these to where
Wow.
it was the second guy. If
Mhm.
you're in the NFL and you're threatened, I
Mhm.
mean, you need to tuck. You know,
Oh, absolutely.
second guy's not a mistake,
Yeah, get it away or tuck it and drop.
right?
Stop, drop,
Caleb-
and roll.
Caleb did the same thing yesterday. He got taken down by the second guy, and he couldn't get it away. So
And it could be a timing issue too. They're just not.
Yeah.
They gotta find out. Okay, until
Yeah.
we play, then we can pick on these people.
I played
that
Madden.
was my only tidbit for the Titans was the fact that the whole left side of their offensive line is new.
Yeah.
They've got the Denver center, but the left tackle and the left guard are both top 10 picks from the last 2 years.
Mhm.
So maybe by a month in, they might be better. I mean, the in preseason last year, the guard was out the whole year. And so it's his first season too, even though he's in year 2.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep. We'll keep an eye on it. The Jaguars and the Dolphins. Oh, I guess we can just discuss Tyreek Hill's victory with a TD and how he had his teammate hold his hands back like he was getting arrested, and they wouldn't show it on national TV.
Tua played good.
Yeah.
300. I think he had 2 tutties. So
Yeah.
It was a great game.
happened.
great game. Last second field goal won it. So good for Miami.
Yep. So now we'll talk about the Broncos Seahawks, which obviously I did watch.
Have at it, Julie.
quite closely.
So when you told me I'm taking the easy way out.
Wait, so can you start us off by telling us how Bo Nix looked? Because the stats say he looked bad.
Yeah, it was pretty much a dumpster fire on both sides of the offense. Like, I was just like, I wanted to smack Geno Smith with a wet fish and hand a Kleenex to Bo Nix because it was his first game for his tears that he should have been crying. It was like truly like it was the gameplay, the level of talent exhibited was shameful, and it was just like really like who's gonna be so bad in defense this time around so somebody's gonna get points. It was certainly not because because they were just so amazing that they managed to make it. It was kind of egregious. I will say the Seahawks defense was like super strong. I mean, they still have to work out some things, but like I was really impressed by what I saw with what they're growing over there, which makes sense because the new head coach, who is only a couple years older than me but looks 20 years older than me, is the former defensive coordinator. So it makes sense that he like worked really hard on that area.
Yeah.
And like, so I obviously coming from the Legion of Boom era, there's nothing more I love than an exciting defense So it was good to see it. Like Julian Love was just like all over the screen. Like I think he's made a bigger presence. Woolen was back out there catching every interception ever. So like I will say that that was probably the saving grace for what was like kind of a painful scenario for me. It certainly
did,
didn't wow anyone.
how did Kenneth Walker look?
He did get a touchdown, but I'm trying to think. I think he had an injury or something.
Again?
I can't remember. I know he was less of a presence at the end of the game, and Charbonnet even was around more. And I did think it was kind of funny because Walker like ran. He was rushing, and he literally made a man do a actual somersault off of his back. He like plowed into him in such a way that the man did a literal somersault and like landed on the ground behind him, and he just kept running. And I was like, what? This feels like an action movie or something. It was truly incredible. It was like just, but then the second guy came, and so he didn't get that far, but he just ran through him like he wasn't even there, and the guy did a literal like. So that was probably one of the highlights of the game was the somersault. Yeah, I think he was out towards the end, but and Metcalf wasn't doing that well, which I know really bruised his ego. Lockett looked fantastic. He definitely brought
As
in
always.
right. Yeah, he brought in the amazing catches he can always do. I think it's his size. He could just weave through people because he's small.
Yep.
But yeah, he did what he normally does. Jackson Smith Najigba was out there. It just wasn't very smooth, and it looked kind of like Gino was trying to kind of get back into the things, but he was a little messier than normal. Like I think it was an interception. Was it like the first possession of the ball? Like it was kind of hard.
Yeah, his first throw of the year. Yep.
To not lose your shit repeatedly at him. Yeah, so I think maybe it was just a jitters. Here's hoping. I know a lot changed in the off season. Not with the players so much, but just with leadership. We have a lot of new people, like the offensive coordinators they pulled from college. So like I think there could be some of that, but it was abysmal. But
Yeah. I was just wanting to say one thing about Bo. He will get better. Okay.
yeah,
He was in college for so long. And like you said, the
Yes.
adjustment to the speed. I mean, I watched him a lot at Ole Miss because, I mean, being from Tennessee, there's a lot of crossover. Almost all the Ole Miss games I would be able to get to see, and he was really good. And then went to the West Coast and became much, much better.
Mhm.
But the nice media weird thing that happened was I was watching on the Red Zone channel, and Bo Nix was going back to pass, and he throws it out to the right, and the announcer immediately screams out, "Oh no!" Which I never hear announcers do. He was thrown in triple coverage and it was like immediately intercepted, but you just don't hear that sort of honesty.
Right.
It was.
I would say
It was
I feel like we're
impressive.
getting more honesty from the commentators in general, and I was kind of surprised at how they brought up the charges that both Matt Araiza had, and they talked about another one, but they used the words that we can't use on YouTube, and I was just kind of surprised that they that they were not only that they used those words, but then they did it during the game. Like I feel like it's a new level of, I don't know, transparency maybe.
You think maybe it's because they've got so many outlets that are competing with the games. I mean, there's games on Amazon, there's games on CBS, ESPN, Fox. There's so many; they're all competing against each other.
And
Right.
it could just be a change of an era because I think the fan base I think probably the younger fan base appreciates some honesty.
That makes
and
sense.
and appreciate the bluntness in comparison to possibly older generations where you just didn't talk about those things. So like now you do. So I think that could be a factor as well.
Yeah, and plus you can look it up in 10 minutes now, which is different than like even a decade ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Chargers Raiders.
Brawl City, lopsided. Congratulations to Harbaugh.
That's the way you want it, right? No one bothering you?
Yeah, that was surprising to me.
Not much
The first
else I can
game
say about that
to
game.
win. Yeah, because the Raiders were surprising last year. They got that many wins. They were winning games like this, the close ones.
Yeah. I don't know. The Raiders offense just looks bad. Herbert needs weapons to throw to.
Yeah, he's throwing to himself.
I mean, other than the brawl, the game wasn't much to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An opening day loss for Uncle Rico.
Yep. Guess he wasn't throwing the ball over the mountains there.
No.
Cowboys Browns.
Again, lopsided. Dallas suffocated for most of the game.
You know what I call that, gentlemen? I call that karma.
Exactly.
And I think that if we create positive energy in our locker rooms and have
How
a
many-
modicum of morality, it will suit us in the game.
Are you preaching to a choir now?
Yep. I'm just preaching to them because they've been seeing this coming, and then they decided, oh, the talent's greater than consequences, and the universe has laughed in their face, and I'm here for it.
Well,
I
he
thought
sacked-
this the
sacked
Dallas
6
signed their
times.
quarterback. Yeah, so I think that positive energy flowed forward.
Yeah, well, he didn't look that great. However, the defense looked awesome.
Micah Parsons especially looked
Yes,
awesome.
he was a menace on the field, and they really forced Deshaun into some really stupid throws.
Oh no.
Oh no, he was sacked 6 times.
Oh no.
Turpin returned one for a touchdown. He's
The story's
become
getting better as we go.
one of the most dangerous returners in the game. I mean, it was an all-around win for Dallas, and even Zeke got in the end zone. So his return to Dallas, he got in the
Right.
end zone. Good for him.
Absolutely. Okay. Commanders, Buccaneers.
Again, lopsided.
Yeah, I was glad to see that they didn't screw over who's the quarterback?
Jaden Daniels,
No, the other one.
Baker.
Yes, I'm glad they didn't ruin his life in the off season, like I was predicting that they would, because they wound me so often.
Yeah. And Mike Evans looked freaking Mike Evans like yesterday.
Yes.
He gave me 40 points in fantasy. So
Right.
Jaden Daniels got in the end zone, so good for him on his first NFL touchdown.
I
But
forgot
he's-
who he even was.
Still lost by 17. Washington still has a long way to go before Jaden can save that franchise.
But isn't he the first of the rookie quarterbacks to actually get in the end zone? Between him, Caleb Williams, Bo Nix.
Of course, that would be a stat that you would
Well,
pay attention
Drake
to.
hasn't played yet, so
Yeah, Drake hasn't played yet.
so I saw something that said Drake May will not start until the offensive line improves.
Okay.
So if it doesn't improve, he's not going to start this year, apparently.
Okay.
Interesting.
But I foresee him starting by week 6, week 7. Because at some point, you just got to put him in the
Yeah.
game, get him some reps.
I mean, define improves.
Even if it's late in the game, just get him in there.
Yeah. Okay, and Ryan, you're
Yo.
yeah, we're Sunday Night Football. We've reached it.
That was a great game. It was a
Mhm.
really good game. It was an awesome game to start off Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, it really was.
Outcome for me, but
Come on, guys.
Puka getting injured, I was like, I'm pretty sure a puppy cried on the streets because it got
it's
kicked.
he's now on the IR. Sprained PCL, or sorry, PCL strain, not a sprain. So he's gonna miss at least 4 games. Cooper Kupp looked like 2021 Cooper Kupp last night.
Okay, I was
14
gonna
catches.
say that. Yeah, he really showed
Yeah.
out, and which was good to see because it was like, it's been since 2021 since we've seen that.
Yeah, I mean he had spurts of it last year, but last year's the Puka show. The
Well, that
defense
show's been derailed.
for now, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stafford looked Stafford.
I'm not so sure.
Touchdown. And the interception was whatever. I don't know what he's
Yeah.
doing. But
Yeah, that was
overall, Detroit should kind of, I don't know, feel a little worried about how their season's going to go. Rams are down 4 offensive linemen yesterday, and they still almost lost. And their pass rush only sacked Stafford twice. So,
who was the guy? Well, Kyron Williams, his mom was screaming in the stands the whole goddamn game because he was out there so much. But I'm trying to remember who was the running back who basically got them who made them their way down the entire field and did all of the work, like very Alvin Kamara and the New Orleans Saints energy, for the OT touchdown.
oh, for Detroit,
Yeah.
Montgomery and Gibbs.
Yeah, that was kind of incredible. I'm like, this man literally carried them.
Yeah.
So they definitely have a couple weapons, but
it was a game that once again LA shot themselves in the foot a bunch of times. Being in the red zone 3 times last night and went 0 for 3.
Oh my god.
And they were 1 for 4 the entirety of the game.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to watch.
Yeah, you get down there, great drive, and you stall out. Going down 14, going into half is not ideal.
I can't say that much because my team got 2 safeties or 1 safety and almost got a second one. I can't remember, but because they couldn't get out of the end zone ever. So I can't really talk, but it just isn't what you want to see, obviously.
No, and the defense, man, what the hell? Can't tackle. Pass rush is weak again. It's frustrating. They let Ernest Jones go to Tennessee in favor of Troy Reader, who can't tackle to save his life.
Tennessee got the best guy of about 2 or 3 different teams this offseason.
Yeah,
but I was going to say that the tackling thing is like it's endemic across the league because they didn't have any preseason. You never saw 5 years ago key defensive people being held out preseason like you did the whole year this year. Maybe the key offensive people, but not key defensive people.
Well,
I mean, play it down some of them.
That's why I felt like this kind of was like a continuation of the preseason because we were seeing like most people play for the very first time.
Pretty much, yeah. To pretty much sum up the Rams game, Detroit's offseason additions to the defensive backfield played out great for them. They're going to be great additions and pieces for their playoff run. Carlton Davis, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but the guy they got from Alabama in the draft, Teron. Oh man, what was his name?
The defensive back.
Yeah, Teron. I can't remember his name, but he was pretty good last night. He went 1-on-1 with the Cup last night and learned a couple times that it's not as easy as some people may think it looks. So
yeah, no, I would not qualify that as easy.
No, but overall, Rams defense is young. It was a great game. Got the short end of the deal with the overtime coin toss flip.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so we got a couple minutes before kickoff here. What do we think? Jets and 49ers. Who's gonna win?
Niners.
Is Aaron Rodgers gonna get beat up?
CMC's out, so I don't know. What is that going to do to Brock Purdy?
How is he out in week 1 and we didn't even see him during the preseason?
I don't think he'll be out. I think he'll play most of the year.
Right now he's out. He's got a calf strain with an Achilles problem right now.
I don't know if we'll see him most of the year. This man is made out of glass, and he's like Jimmy Garoppolo.
Well, he's had 2 really strong seasons in a row, so good for him.
Yeah, but he does get injured the whole way.
Compared to what he did in Carolina his last couple of years, where he missed pretty much 2 full seasons.
Okay, well, the Panthers are a cancer to the NFL, so they ruin everyone. Okay, so let's see a little hot goss around the. Are we updating our Super Bowl predictions, or are we still going with what we had?
Well, what I have, Rams and Bills.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'll wait until week 6 before I change anything.
Yeah.
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 It's just 1 week, but
Yeah.
are we gonna touch on the Dak contract or?
Yeah, I was just about to get
Oh,
there.
okay. Just want to make sure.
Yeah, go for it. Let's get into the hot goss.
Okay, I'm not holding back on this.
I have a few notes.
Oh, you do too?
I have a few notes. Yes.
I have
right,
a lot of
let's go.
notes.
Okay. Them Cowboys are back. They re-signed the quarterback, Dak, but the critics will hate and scoff when they stumble in the playoff, and Jerry Jones will catch the flack.
Oh my god. Let me hold on. You know when you go to spoken word and you snap, not
Snap.
yeah.
All right.
That was good, Jay. That was
I
good.
take the snaps.
Did
Yeah,
you
take
but-
the snaps.
did you spend
I
all
take
day
the
at work
snaps.
doing that?
Yeah, that's his,
I
that's
know.
what I did.
They were wondering why my production was low at work today.
Oh, you were just spending all day writing a poem about Dak Prescott's horrible contract.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, I
All
love
right.
that.
What-
It's gonna be hard to follow that up, but go ahead, Ryan.
What are your other notes, Jay? Is that it?
That's it.
You don't need
5
nothing
lines.
else.
All right. Let's break down this contract here. 4 years, $240 million, signed through 2028. He was playing on the last leg of his $160 million contract. He already signed. So he's technically going to be there for 5 more years. It includes $231 million guaranteed, both most in league history. $60 million average annual value and $80 million signing bonus. Now, here is what I have to question Jerry Jones's mental state. What the hell are you doing giving, let me look again, $240 million, $80 million in signing, and $60 million a year to a dude who's won 2 playoff games and 7 tries for you? The hell you doing, Jerry? He has a 66% completion percentage in his career. 8 years. He's played going into his 9th year. Technically, he's only played 7.5 years. 3 years greater than 4K yards, 2019, 2021, 2023. 3 years greater than or equal to 30 touchdowns, 2019, 2021, 2023. Led the NFL 1 time in touchdown passes. That was 2021. 203 career touchdowns, 4 years under 25 touchdowns. Offensive Rookie of the Year in 2016. Top 2 in MVP voting 1 time. 14 fourth quarter comebacks, 22 game winning drives, 2-5 in the playoffs. In the playoffs, he has 64% completion percentage, 1,962 yards, 14 touchdowns, 7 INTs, 8 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions in the last 3 playoff games. 3 times leading offense to 30 points in playoffs. So 30 points he scored, led an offense to 30 points in 7 games. 3 times? What does that resume right there say? He deserves $240 million over 4 years, $80 million in signing, and $231 guaranteed. Answer me that question. That's not rhetorical. Answer that. Can you answer?
I didn't sign
Okay.
it. I'm sorry.
I don't think you can. Jerry Jones is senile. He's delusional.
Well, that nobody should be arguing.
This man worked so hard to get Dak Prescott his glorious contract 6 hours before game time. And this dude puts up 171 yards in week 1. I think 1 touchdown and 59% completion percentage against Cleveland's defense.
Sometimes change is good.
Can you name one defensive back on the team besides Denzel Ward?
I couldn't even name him.
Other than helmet swinger Garrett, you can't name anybody. And this dude completes 59% of his passes and 170 yards. But he deserves $240 million. I predict in the next 4 years they will win 2 playoff games at most with Dak Prescott under center.
Those are strong words.
I'm not even a Cowboys fan. This just irritates me. I haven't seen
Yeah.
anything. This dude deserves to get this money. Dumb.
Yeah.
Bad. Horrible for the franchise.
Yeah, on principle, I'm generally opposed, even though I don't really care about the Cowboys.
How about they use that money to get him a wide receiver other than CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks is washed?
Well,
What's so funny, Jay? What's so funny? Why are you laughing?
I mean, you made his last name into a hyphenate. That was pretty cool. Just call him Cooks dash washed.
that's what his mom
Just
calls him.
skip right to the point. I love that.
Am I wrong though?
Hey, there was no line for Dalvin Cooks. Whatever they paid him, I mean, there was no line of people trying to elbow
No, that's
Jerry
Brandon
Jones
Cooks.
to get
That's
to
not
Dalvin Cooks.
Dalvin Cooks.
No, they did get Dalvin Cook though, and he's not even active right now. They have Brandon Cook and CeeDee Lamb, Cooks and CeeDee Lamb as the two targets for Dak Prescott and his $240 million to throw to.
Yeah, I don't think we can blame it on the team this time, Jay.
No.
He's had plenty of supporting cast, and he's how do they say, screwed the pooch.
I'm kind of surprised too because we heard a little muttering on the off season about some shenanigans that happened. That is a lot to pay somebody who could have some further legal moments.
I thought he was cleared of all that shit.
Okay, but I'm just saying, one, if sometimes things can pop back up if it actually did happen. Things are often a pattern. And we can also talk about the people who circle people who have a reputation of that and then make up false allegations. And I'm not accusing anyone ever of any situation, but there are people who will purposely try to get money and fame from that. And often it's not the case, and usually it's a victim. But I'm just saying they're leaving themselves kind of vulnerable to me because what else is going to come out, you know? I was surprised for them to count so wholly on a situation when those kind of things often have follow up.
Was there any other big injuries during the week? I mean, there weren't really any big signings, I know, at the very last, except for Dak. But any other big injuries yesterday besides obviously Jordan Love this weekend?
Yeah, and Puka Nakua.
The Rams lost Joe Noteboom.
Don't know who that is.
Okay.
The left tackle, and Avila has a sprained MCL.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Steve Avila was the center. Was moved from guard to center.
Okay.
So the Rams are now down 4 offensive linemen, including Rob Hammenstein, who's out with an ankle injury now. I think that's it for now for injuries. I want to say
that's pretty good for a first week, I think. At least the way the NFL's been running lately.
Yeah. One last thing though about the NFL. Apparently, they are warning players and teams about safety violations. They're warning specific players and teams that it will not hold back on suspensions. Recently sent a memo to more than 20 players and teams that they play for, emphasizing the importance of safety and sportsmanship and warning them that they would face suspensions if there are any violations. League sources told ESPN. The league believes this is an additional attempt to try to make the game safer, according to sources. So what do we think there?
I guess preemptive.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, nobody's in favor of safety violations, but like you said, to come out and be so public about warning the first week is kind of laying it out there so that they can be as tough as they want to be.
They're not playing games. Oh, I will just mention here. So Kenneth Walker III, he left with abdominal pain, i.e., he had a bad He ate something bad the day before,
Had to
so
poop.
he's okay. And
Okay, that's good then.
yeah, and Bryce Hall, for Tampa Bay, he had a dislocated ankle and a fractured fibula.
No shit.
So that was kind of rough. There's a lot of names here, but some of it's pretty minor. David Njoku's high ankle sprain, for the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, there's definitely a few things. Josh Palmer.
Oh,
Yeah, and Jack Jones. Bye.
There's
That doesn't
one.
surprise me. Jack Jones is a gift in my true crime segment more than once. So
hey, the game's on, and guess what just happened?
what?
Trent Williams was off the line of scrimmage, the center's belt line. Wouldn't call for illegal formation.
Wow.
Okay, well, let us go catch that magic on our TV.
I was going to say, I mean,
And he's off it again.
Ryan needs to drop his Twitter handle for us. Everything he's working on.
At the Bee's Knees 97, and pretty much working on correcting people's ignorance on Twitter.
There you go. And for me, I'm at Ajax Allen. On Twitter or X if you're one of the cool kids, and I'm lifting up people who need lifting up, and putting down people that need putting down. So that's what I do out there.
You sound so mean, Jay. Are we gonna find you out in the front yard yelling at the clouds for moving too fast?
What do you mean find me? I'll be there, but you can't see me. I'm that old man crazy.
I got you. So you're one with the nature, and you just blend right in. Gotcha.
Me and the
I'm
deer movement
uncomfortable
one,
by
yes.
everything about that, but
But
and you can find me at It's Miller Crime on Instagram and Twitter or X, and I don't presume to assume that I can tell people much of anything, which I know makes me
great confidence, Julie.
No, I just don't feel the need to school random strangers with my perceptions. That takes a sort of audacity that I
All I'm
think.
saying, if you're gonna post some stupid shit, expect people to correct you if you're wrong. You gotta have facts if you're gonna post something.
Yeah, that takes a level of audacity I don't have. That would probably not be well received. Anyway. And
okay.
So like, subscribe, hit that notification bell.
Ding.
Ding.
Perfect.
Yeah, and let us
Perfect
know
pitch.
what did you think about the Mount Rushmore of UFC players. We know how Ryan feels. He certainly didn't lay off with that at all. Do you feel?
And I'm agreeing with Ryan on the Liddell thing.
Yes.
I don't see how you leave him off.
I guess he should have thought about his words a little more carefully.
Yeah. Dana.
God damn it, Dana. Every time. Yes. All right.
Every time I hear his name, all I think about is the movie Zookeeper, where he's messing with a guy named Gail, and he's like, Gail, you're a female.
All right. Well, with that little tidbit, we will see everyone next week. Have a good one. Do you think we're wrong about all our takes? Let us know how wrong we are so Ryan can find you on Twitter. And have a good one.